Several years ago, I'm going to ask a parochial question, but it does have national security implications. Several years ago, Kansas was selected through a competitive process run by the Department of Homeland Security to be the site of the new National Bio and Agro-Defense Facility. The acronym for that is NBAF. The purpose was to replace the aging Plum Island facility, which, by the way, ranked 6 out of 6 finalists under consideration for the final site selection. To date, the federal government has spent over $100 million in design and preparations to build this facility. The state of Kansas has also designated a cost share as part of the proposal as well over $206 million. In fact, the land where this facility is to be built at Kansas State University has already been cleared of all the buildings and structures. I know you support the construction of this new facility. I thank you so much for your time when we talked about this and the dangers to our country and our nation's food supply and what that threat really poses. As a former member and chairman of the Intelligence Committee, I can assure you that threat still exists. And I know you understand the important need it would fill in our agriculture and food security. The Secretary of Health and Human Services, Kathleen Sebelius, our former governor, she was governor when this all went through, is supportive. And the DHS Secretary Napolitano has previously toured the site, expressed her support for the project. So I and most Kansans were surprised, and I think all of agriculture was surprised, stunned actually, when the President's budget came out on Monday and proposed no construction funds in 2013, and it also proposed a task force to determine if a new facility is actually needed. Mr. Secretary, do you believe construction of this facility is vital to our nation's food and agriculture security?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Mr. Secretary, since we both agree it is vital and the Plum Island facility is in a sense starting to fall apart, were you surprised at all to see the budget eliminate the construction funding and instead pump more money into research? And I want to emphasize that research that the state of Kansas has already agreed to support as part of our share of that Kansas cost share proposal.
Senator, we are looking at opportunities, as you and I have discussed, to see if there are ways in which some of the activities or some of the work that is being done in Plum Island, that some of that work may transition, or if you will, to the Kansas location, which I'm committed to trying to make happen this year. So obviously, we're going to continue to work with you and work with the committee and work with the Congress to make sure that folks understand the significance of this facility, to make sure that they understand the concerns that we have with the Plum Island facility and some of the needed repairs that would be required and the cost of those repairs over a period of 10, 15, 20 years, and whether or not we would be better off as a country having a modern facility. This is critical for us. It's critical for us in terms of being able to identify problems and being able to accurately analyze the extent of the problem. As we become more engaged in global trade and as agriculture becomes a great story for American exports, we obviously want to be able to maintain our good reputation around the world. So this facility is important. We'll continue to work with Homeland Security as we have. We'll continue to work with your office as we have to make sure that at some point in time this becomes a reality. There's still a lot of work that has to be done in terms of the design. We have to make sure that it is adequate to contain some very dangerous materials that they'll have to deal with. But my hope is that, that we can find a way to get this thing built at some point.
I certainly appreciate your answer. Let me change subjects with the minute I have left. Last summer, the